Hey everyone, it's Rhino here with your Disney News highlights for the week of November 13th, 2021. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They are experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation, and when you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce here. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And now that I have said that, let's move on to the news. We had the Q4 earnings call this week, and I'm going to read some things from the article on the site. Led largely by slowing Disney Plus subscriptions, the Walt Disney Company missed its earnings and sales estimates. Overall revenue on the quarter came up in at $18.53 billion, slightly below expected estimates of $18.79 billion. Disney Parks Experiences and Products, however, saw a profitable Q4 by reporting $640 million in profit, driven largely by continued reopening efforts across the parks and Disney Cruise Line. Revenue for this division in Q4 was $5.5 billion as compared to $2.7 billion in 2020. Quote, "This has been a very productive year for the Walt Disney Company as we've made great strides in reopening our businesses while taking meaningful and innovative steps in direct-to-consumer and at our parks, particularly with our popular new Disney Genie and Magic Key offerings," said Bob Chapek, Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company. "As we celebrate the 2-year anniversary of Disney Plus, we're extremely pleased with the success of our streaming business with 179 million total subscriptions across our DTC portfolio at the end of fiscal 2021 and 60% subscriber growth year over year for Disney Plus. We continue to manage our DTC business for the long term, and we are confident that our high-quality entertainment and expansion into additional markets worldwide will enable us to further grow our streaming platforms globally." I think my problem with Bob Chapek is that he speaks to everyone like they're an idiot. I mean, that essentially is the job of a CEO in some aspect, I think, where you're supposed to sugarcoat everything. But I personally don't think it's really fair to say that in the 2 years that Disney Plus launched, 2019 to 2021 now, saying 60% subscriber growth year over year, there was a global pandemic where people had nothing to do but consume content at their house. So yes, there was a surge in subscriptions, but that is an unprecedented event that you should not be like, I'm not saying don't invest some stuff in, but you can't show that as like, I don't know. It feels like something where it's like it's like an inflation of success because of a unique moment, right? Like it obviously subscribers have slowed. People are out of the house now. They want to go and do stuff. They want to get out. And so they're probably not consuming content quite as much as they were before. So it's like, yeah, things are slowing in terms of that stuff. But I don't know. I'm not a businessman, so whatever. I will shut up and take my 2 cents out of it. But here are some of the more interesting takeaways from the call. Disney Plus added 2.1 million new subscribers in Q4 2021, bringing its total subscriber count to approximately 118.1 million. With this number, while this number is in line with Disney's estimates and represents a 1.8% growth from Q3, it is below Wall Street's expectations, which estimated nearly 125 million subscribers by the end of the quarter and fiscal year. Chapek combated these concerns by stating, "I want to reiterate that we remain focused on managing our DPC business for the long term, not quarter to quarter, and we're confident that we are in the right trajectory to achieve the guidance that we provided at last year's Investors Day, reaching between 230 and 260 million paid Disney Plus subscribers globally by the end of fiscal year 2024, with Disney Plus achieving profitability that same year." Maybe if some of the shows that you announced really started coming out, or you didn't cancel everything that people were excited about in the beginning, Lizzie McGuire, but anyway, moving on. Disney Sports, discussing sports, Chapek hinted that the company was moving towards a greater presence in online sports betting. I do not understand any of this. "We do believe that sports betting is a very significant opportunity for the company. It's all driven by the consumer. It's driven by the consumer, particularly the younger consumer, expendable income, that will replenish the sports fans over time. They desire to have gambling as part of their sports experience." Like I said, I don't get it. I'm not into that stuff, so I don't know. Q4 2021 represented the first full quarter since the pandemic began, with all Disney parks and the entirety of Disney Cruise Line reopened. Disney Genie has seen great success since launch, with Disney reporting that nearly 1/3 of park guests have been upgrading to Disney Genie Plus when visiting Walt Disney World. I also don't like this statistic because Disney Genie Plus, as of the time of this investor call, has been out for less than a month. And if you are a Disney fan, or you have been to the opening of a a Disney attraction or the beginning of like Food and Wine or any festival or the first night of a party, an after hours party, you know that those nights and days are commonly the most busiest because you have the diehard Disney people that are coming out and they want to try the new thing. So again, this is another look at something that's not a long term. Like, yeah, it's a third now, but what happens in like 6 months from now? I don't know. Again, I don't really know these things, so just take it with a grain of salt. I'm trying not to. I don't mean to be all super negative or anything like that. It's just one of those things where I used to not like when I worked for Disney getting the emails that were like, Bob Iger, but it was always like our most profitable quarter ever. But it was always like they were pulling, it was like condensing everything in the park. It was that time when Shanghai was opening. So they just kept pulling all like cutting back everywhere across the board. And we had to work like 6 days a week because they didn't want to hire new people. And it was, but then you get an email like that and it feels very like tone deaf, I guess. So Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser has virtually sold out for the first 4 months of voyages. Jealous of people who go on that. Attendance at Walt Disney World was up double digits versus Q3 2021, and Disneyland attendance continuing to increase as well. Disney expects that social distancing restrictions to remain in place for at least the first half of fiscal year 2022, which at this point I have no idea what that means because other than wearing a mask indoors, it is business as usual. Cram you in all the way forward, everybody right up next to each other. So I don't really know what they're doing in terms of physical distancing other than that. So I feel like, again, they're just using that as reasoning for whatever they're doing. But let's talk about EPCOT for a second here. We know that EPCOT International Festival of the Holidays will be returning November 26th through December 30th, 2021. And it looks like the different storytellers are going to be returning this year throughout the parks as well. Guests will be able to learn about the holiday traditions of all the different countries that are represented in the World Showcase Pavilion. Each country has its own special theme that highlights its culture. Storytellers will delight you with tales of their heritage and how the holidays are celebrated in their homeland. Guests are encouraged to look for EPCOT scrolls in each entertainment location that tell the story of each country's holiday tradition. Find all 13 of them to collect fun new ideas of celebrating your own holidays and tips for finding unique holiday photo spots in the park. Some celebrity narrators have also been announced for the Candlelight Processional, and I think this is the complete list because it covers every day from the 26th through the 30th. But we have Ali Carvalho. I hope I said that correctly. I apologize if I didn't. Cheetah Rivera, Jody Benson, Alton Fitzgerald White, Bart Millard, Lisa Lang, Andy Garcia, Anna Gasteyer, Courtney B. Vance, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Blair Underwood, and Pat Sajak. So personally for me, I am looking forward to all the food, and I am hoping that the eggnog beer comes back this year. So fingers crossed for that. So I am excited. So speaking of Disney Cruise Line, good segue, right? Port Canaveral has been Disney Cruise Line's primary terminal in Florida, with the Disney Dream and Disney Fantasy currently sailing from there. The older ships, the Disney Magic and Disney Wonder, have been sailing seasonally out of Port Miami since 2012. The Disney Magic began sailing once again out of Port Miami just last month, but in May of this year, Port Everglades was given the go-ahead from Broward County to start discussions with Disney Cruise Line, who was beginning to shop around a second year-round port in Florida. Port Everglades would be the perfect option as DCL does not want to share its terminal with another cruise line. They have their eyes explicitly set on Cruise Terminal 4 as it's very close to Fort Lauderdale's Convention Center and has an extensive parking garage as well as a hotel close by. The port's proximity to Fort Lauderdale International Airport also proposes to be a significant benefit. According to the Orlando Sentinel, the new deal will see the cruise line begin a 15-year lease as early as October 2023, with options to extend it up to 30 years. It also calls for year-round use of Cruise Terminal 4 for the first 2 years and then adding access to a second terminal to be determined down the lines. The deal does not mention a specific ship that would sail out of Port Everglades, but language confirms that any DCL's current vessels, like the upcoming Wish and its two sister ships coming in 2024 or 2025, could dock there. The new agreement shows that DCL and the port would share the estimated $12 million price tag on the redesign of the Cruise Terminal 4. Disney would also pay $500,000 towards the $2 million worth of marine side improvements for the ship's berth. Details on the agreement outline enhancements that could provide a similar feel to the Cruise Terminal 8 Port Canaveral, with upgraded check-in kiosks, rooms for 1,000 seats with mobile device charging stations, and digital screens for information and entertainment. Plans are for work on the terminal to be mostly finished by October 15th of 2023 and completed by November 30th of that year. The agreement states that DCL would begin sailing as early as October 1st of 2023 and no later than May 1st of 2024. Plans are for it to base at least one ship at the port year-round, doing 4 and 5 night sailings for the first 2 fiscal years. The line is guaranteeing 400,000 passengers annually, which will then grow to 750,000 passengers from year 3 through the end of the potential 30-year contract. But you can read more about this agreement on DCL Fan if you want to. It's interesting. They're really, really going into that cruise industry. I mean, we knew that, but and still speaking of Disney Cruise Line, U.S. News and World Report awarded Disney Cruise Line 2 gold badges, naming Disney the best cruise line for families and the best cruise line in the Caribbean. DCL has received both of these awards for 8 consecutive years. There is a full ranking that is available at U.S. News and World Report if you want to see who else is on the list. But yeah, so before I go, just really quick, I just want to say that yesterday was that Disney Plus Day, and or as I like to call it, Disney releases a ton of graphics and title cards day. I don't know about you, but I honestly, I'm not sure how many more of these like Investor Call, Disney Plus Days, and whatever else where they just kept kind of doing the same thing. They keep announcing a show or a movie or something that legitimately feels like it has less than a 50-50 shot of actually coming out, and even less of a shot of coming out when it's supposed to, i.e., like I said earlier, Lizzie McGuire and the Star Wars Andor show that was announced like 3 years ago. That's not coming out until the end of next year, I guess. So I mean, I know that COVID like slowed everything down, but if you're going to cram this service down our throats, which is what it is starting to feel like, and that's how you know those subscriber base started to flatline. I just wish they would like sweeten the pot a little bit. My goodness, I signed up for this 3 years ago at D23, and yes, that was a good deal comparatively, but I just feel like everything that comes out on this service, except for the occasional Mandalorian or Star Wars show and the Marvel shows, is like documentaries about the making of something, and it's not. I don't know. It's just it's all behind the scenes. For me, it hasn't truly yet delivered on its promise, and like I said, it's no wonder to me that like those subscriber base is starting to flatline. But it does have, it's a great catalog for Disney movies, and I'm feeling just very little else at this point. But these first few years, other than a show here and there, like I said, it just feels a little. I don't know. I'm excited for stuff that was on the horizon, though, the stuff they did announce. Because, again, it just feels like I'm just always excited about what's coming, but it still has yet to get here. And it's, I don't know. But stuff like She-Hulk, looking forward to She-Hulk quite a bit. They showed just like a 2-second clip of Moon Knight, which is starring Oscar Isaac, and I'm excited for that. Secret Invasion, obviously, we got to see Sam Jackson without his eye patch, which was cool. And then they announced some new shows like this show called Echo, which I believe, I had to look that up, it has something to do with Daredevil. So like if they get, if Charlie Cox comes back into the fold in Spider-Man No Way Home, which is the rumor right now. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I would just be excited. I knew from the 90s cartoon show that Spider-Man is involved with Peter at some point or other because they're both in New York and stuff. So my Alexa just randomly started playing music, so I think it's trying to play me out right now. I just realized why it actually started playing music, and it's because I said the word echo. My Alexas all have different names in the house so that they can't hear each other, because for some reason, if you say the name, they'll all start talking, and that creeps me out. So that's my bad. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me. I do apologize about that interruption. If you liked the video, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Again, leave me some comments about what you're looking forward to on Disney Plus, because as negative as I seemed in this video, I do still get excited about, all that Star Wars Marvel content. And not just that, I'm excited for some of the other stuff that's on here. I still have yet to watch Mighty Ducks Game Changers, but now that Coach Gordon Bombay is not returning, I don't know that I'm even going to invest the time. I just don't know. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to go now and throw my Alexa out a window, and I will see you later.